First, I'm going to take a 9 by 13 pan and I'm going to coat it really well with butter. Then I'm going to set it to the side. And in a 3-quart saucepan, I'm putting 3 cups of sugar, 2/3 cup of evaporated milk, and 1.5 sticks of butter. And I'm going to put this on the stove on medium heat. Now I'm just going to gently stir this mixture until it begins to boil. You want to stir it gently so that way it doesn't splash up onto the sides of the pan, which will cause the sugar to crystallize and then your fudge will be gritty. So just stir it nice and gently. And then whenever it begins to boil, you're going to stir it constantly for 5 minutes. You want to keep the mixture moving so that it doesn't burn. Once again, just do it gently so that way it doesn't splash up onto the side of the pan, causing the sugar to crystallize. When the 5 minutes is up, then you remove the mixture from the heat and add 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And you're going to stir these in until they are completely melted. Now I'm taking a pan of water that I put on the stove so I can heat my spoon up in it to put 1 jar of marshmallow cream into the chocolate mixture. Having a hot spoon will make getting the marshmallow cream off much easier. Then just stir the marshmallow cream into the chocolate mixture and then add 1 teaspoon of vanilla and mix that in as well. Once everything is all mixed together and melted, then you pour it into your buttered 9 by 13 pan. Give it a little shake to level it out. Now I'm just going to set it and let it harden up. Once the fudge is set, then I'll cut it into pieces and put it onto a piece of wax paper that I have put into my storage container. I just remove them from the pan, and whenever you do a second layer, you want to put a piece of wax paper in between the layers so that the pieces of fudge don't stick together. You can also add nuts to this recipe if you want to. Into a big bowl, you want to add 3 cups of peanut butter and 2 sticks of butter. We're going to blend those together very well. Now you're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Next, we're going to add in 2 pounds of powdered sugar, a little at a time. I use this lid for my bowl that has a hole in it to keep the powdered sugar from blowing all over the place. Now I'm going to add a little more powdered sugar and mix that in. Now I'm going to add the remaining powdered sugar and mix that in as well. Once I get most of that powdered sugar mixed in, then I'll take the lid off so that I can more easily see what I'm doing and mix it in very well. Now I'm going to take the mixture and roll it into 1-inch size balls. This recipe is going to give me about 6 dozen duck eyes. Once I get all of my balls made, then I'm going to put them into the refrigerator for at least an hour to set. Now I'm cutting up 24 ounces of almond bark. I'm doing this about 15 minutes before I take my peanut butter balls out of the refrigerator. And I'm going to put them into a mini crock pot and turn the setting on to low. Now I'm taking my peanut butter balls and I'm sticking a toothpick into them and dipping them into the melted chocolate. Now I'm taking my fingers and covering over the holes left by the toothpick. That's it, and then I'll stick them back in the refrigerator to completely firm up. These will keep for at least 3 weeks. Okay, to make this potato candy, you want to start with a 1/4 cup of instant potato flakes. You need to make sure they are flakes, and a 1/4 cup of water. And then you're just going to take your mixer and mix these together until they form sort of like a pasty dough. Then once you get that mixed, then you're going to add 2 to 3 cups of powdered sugar, and you want to add about 1 cup of the powdered sugar at a time. Now, as you start mixing the ingredients together, it is going to get sort of clumpy and grainy, but you just keep mixing and mixing. I assure you that it will turn out fine. Now, you could make potato candy using a real potato instead of using instant potatoes, and you would do the same thing. You will eliminate the water though. You will only just use the potato, and you will also add as much powdered sugar as you need to achieve the same results here. So now as you see, keep mixing it together, and now it starts forming together to make like a dough ball. Okay, but this is still too liquidy, so we need to add some more powdered sugar. And once again, I'm going to add about another cup of the powdered sugar. And I'm just going to mix it together the exact same way. Just keep mixing. It will once again start forming clumps, becoming sort of crumb-like, kind of crumbly. And like I said, just keep mixing and mixing, and then eventually it will pull together. You can see here it's starting to come together. So I just keep mixing it and mixing it until it comes together really well. So like I said, just keep mixing. There it goes. It starts coming together. And then it's going to get stuck to my beaters a little bit. So I just turn my beaters on high and fling the excess dough off there. See how it's pulling together? Okay, now I'm thinking that this is probably ready and I don't need to add any more sugar. I'm pretty sure I did add just a little more than 2 cups, but I didn't need the full 3 cups. So now I'm just going to take my dough here, and I'm going to see if it will form into a ball. And it is going to form into a ball, looks like. And I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to do the finger stick test. So I'm just doing it back and forth in my hands, and you can see the dough is not sticking to my hands, so we're good to go. Now I'm going to take some parchment paper and lay it out onto my table, and I'm going to sprinkle powdered sugar onto the parchment paper. And then I'm just going to kind of spread it out really well so that I make sure that all the surface where my dough is going to touch is covered. And I'm just going to take my dough, I'm going to flatten it out a little bit, and I'm going to put some powdered sugar on top. Now you can take another piece of parchment if it is easier for you to do to roll the dough out, but I just chose to put some powdered sugar onto my rolling stick and then roll the dough out that way. But like I said, you could use parchment paper if it makes it easier for you. You just keep rolling and rolling till you get, mine came out to be about 11 inches by 7 inches. Some people get theirs 12 by 8. It just depends on how much your ingredients make. So if you put more powdered sugar in, you're most likely going to end up with a bigger piece of dough here. So now I'm cutting, making the edges straight, and I'm going to add this on to the end. And I get a little off screen here, so I'm not going to show you all of that, but it's the same principle. I just keep cutting and adding on and then rolling it out. Now I'm adding on, I added about 1/3 of a cup of peanut butter for this size, but you can add 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup. You don't want to get too much because it's just going to ooze out everywhere. But you put in however much will completely cover yours, leaving just a little bit extra around the edges, and also suitable to your taste, whatever you like. Okay, once you get the peanut butter all spread out, then you just roll it up. Once you get it rolled up, you want to start at the long end and roll. That's how you want to roll it up. Now I'm going to take some plastic wrap, and I'm going to wrap my log here in plastic wrap. You just want to wrap it kind of tight. You don't want it to be super loose. And then stick it in the refrigerator, and you want it to remain in the refrigerator for at least half an hour. I kept mine in for an hour and a half. Then just set it out onto a cutting board, and you want to cut your slices. You can make your slices however thick you like. I believe mine are somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 of an inch. And now I'm just going to take my slices and put them onto this pretty little Christmas pan here, so that they can be displayed all nice and pretty. Okay, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.